So recently I've been looking at Jamaica's crime rate and murder rate, and it has been a topic of discussion for most bloggers and news sites and news articles. And I saw this one, and it says the country's murder rate has surpassed the 1,500 mark. Between January 1st and December 6th, 1,508 people were murdered. Not killed, not in an accident, not crashed, not died from a heart attack or disease, but murdered some way by a gun or in some shape, way, or form. This is 275 more of a 22% increase over last year. It's approximately 4.4 murders a day. Okay, so 4.4 people dead a day in Jamaica. The St. James is the division with the most murders, having recorded 313 over the period. It followed by Clarendon with 160 and St. Andrew South with 149, and my place, which probably come from, Westmoreland, with 134. Early last month, the police confirmed that Jamaica's murder rate has surpassed that of last year, when 1,350 people were killed. So now I wanted to take the time out to actually talk about Montego Bay, because I come from Westmoreland and I frequent Montego Bay a lot. And with everything that has been going on in the media, with all the stories that I've been covering, Montego Bay needs to be placed under a state of emergency, and that is my personal opinion. Montego Bay needs to be placed on a state of emergency, especially with the amount of crime and violence and guns and gangs that has been happening in Montego Bay. There needs to be a state of emergency. Have Montego Bay locked down, especially with Christmas coming around, especially with New Year's celebration coming around. These are the times when Jamaica's crime rates spike dramatically. And I feel like they say they have deployed heavy forces or deploy security forces into Montego Bay, and that's not good enough. And I'm going to read the article where they say that. And they say there has been a strong deployment of members of the security forces in the tough communities of Granville, Glendevon and Flanker, as well as downtown Montego Bay in St. James since Thursday. Intense presence of the police and military in these communities forms part of a new strategy that Police Commissioner George Qualo recently promised to roll out over the festive season to curb the escalating bloodletting in the parish. Head of Operations at the St. James Police Division, Superintendent Gary McKenzie, said the security forces will be undertaking several targeted operations aimed at curtailing gang activities and removing illegal guns and wanted persons from the targeted communities. The murder tally in St. James now stands at over 310 since the start of the year. Gang warfare is to be blamed for over 80% of these killings, and I don't feel like having heavy security forces alone is going to do the trick for St. James, especially with the amount of crime that's going on. Yes, St. James is a beautiful place, it's a beautiful parish, especially for tourism, and it attracts a lot of tourism in our country, but I feel like a state of emergency need to be called for the parish of St. James. Is now out of control to the point where hundreds of guns were about to be shipped into the country, and now they have proof. Okay, so they need to take like extreme dramatic measures to make sure that that city and those people are protected. And I don't feel like just having police in the cities or in certain cities are going to help. It needs to be a state of emergency ASAP. So comment in the comment section and tell me what you guys think about them deploying heavy security forces in Montego Bay. Do you think that it is enough to curb the crime rate that's been going on in St. James? Do you think that the 1,500 murder rate is going to increase by the end of the year, and we're going to hit that 2,000 murder rate by New Year's? Or do you think it's going to stay very low and below 2,000? And do you think that St. James need to be called a state of emergency, means to St. James lockdown? You have to be in by a certain time, you have to be out by a certain time? And tell me what you guys think about those 3 questions. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to your girl here on YouTube. I'm up out of here, man. Deuces.